good afternoon. Salut, bon après-midi. My name is Ümit Kiziltan. I'm the Director General Research and Evaluation at CIC. Quite a few familiar faces from this episode of my life, and also before I used to be the DG for Integration Program Management, and also did the acting DG for Citizenship and Multiculturalism. I have an incredible, great panel here. I have read and looked at the decks. I'm going to let them introduce themselves as I think their turn comes and they present. You have the order of presentation. I'm going to take just a few minutes to tell you where I am at in terms of this very topic. When I say I, partly personally, partly institutionally. First of all, number one, to make everything clear, is that I'm definitely a very strong believer in LIPS. When I say believer, I mean in the evidence-based sense of it, but also from the heart, because of many reasons, but primarily because it is a lot more holistic way of looking at settlement integration, and it connects the individual with where it needs to be connected, meaning connects it to all the enabling factors and institutions that need to be working to make life easier and better for those individuals. That is my thinking. As I looked at the decks, but also theoretically, I'm very well aware that there are quite a few challenges working around LIPS, especially to look at them and to assess their effectiveness. Number one that comes to my mind, and to tell you the truth, in a sense, the way LIPS work, because they are space-based and place-based, very similar to the challenges that we are facing at CIC in terms of assessing how CIC or how Government of Canada is doing in terms of its outcomes, expected outcomes for the general Canadian society, but also newcomers. And I'll tell you what I mean by the similarity. First of all, number one, when you look at the world from a LIPS angle, it is not only about the settlement clients. It's that you want to see the LIPS make a difference for the entire society. This is quite different, because if you were participating in the National Settlement Conference, a lot of attention go on the individuals. Are they doing better, worse, and what are the factors? And yet the LIPS challenge is to justify, to rationalize, to show the value of LIPS. You can't just stay at the immigrant newcomer level. You have to show an added value impact on the entire society. It's a challenge in terms of evaluation. The number two one, challenge-wise, it is also a very holistic, because the concept is holistic, the organization, the setup is holistic, so therefore the outcomes that you're looking at, they are multidimensional. You will see and you will hear about that, multidisciplinary, and in fact it's a very complex approach, and this goes beyond the not about the immigrants point. The third challenge that I see, and I'm going to try to make sure that I'm not misunderstood here, is that ultimately, either whether you are an advocate of LIPS or you are an evaluator looking at LIPS, ultimately you need to demonstrate that added value of that investment. Meaning, same situation, LIPS, no LIPS. What is the difference that the LIPS, that whole engagement of those actors, what is the added difference that LIPS make? It's a very difficult puzzle to deal with. And that institutional, organizational added value is the third challenge that I see. There is a kind of another challenge or kind of a risk that I'd like to flag very quickly before I end my couple minutes here, is this risk that I see in many studies. This happens not just about LIPS, but I have also seen in a few LIPS evaluation studies, is this tendency, and I'm not saying this is very bad, but tendency to fall back on process indicators. I mean, let's say how much money we have leveraged. It's important, right? But ultimately, really what matters is what came out of those investments. But then we report also, for instance, what percentage of actions have we completed? You know, there was a work plan. So this type of reporting is necessary because one wants to be accountable and whatnot. But from an evaluation, really outcomes-based evaluation lens, you really want to go way beyond that. And sometimes lack of data and whatever, whatnot, you end up falling back on those process indicators or measurements. And there is a kind of a little risk there just to be aware of. My very last point is about the following, and this is a little bit in the light of what I have been reading about this latest OECD study. You might be aware of, perhaps it's called How is Life? Very, very comprehensive study of well-being. This is the second issue that they did about 2 years ago. They did a first study. I strongly encourage you to look at that study, an incredibly holistic study of well-being, and it applies, in my opinion, directly to how LIPS and analysis and the theory of LIPS function. And in that particular study, in my opinion, one of the most innovative component is that they looked at sustainability of well-being, meaning that not only just measuring well-being today at the societal, individual, all those, they have 11 different measurement components, but also they for the first time, what they are suggesting is they want to look at whether the policy decisions being made today, are they preparing the sustainability of those well-being measures? Are they impacting them in a negative or positive way as into the future? And there is a beginnings of a good methodological discussion. Why am I going into that? Because what I see in terms of LIPS, one of the most important elements is that they can very easily promise, I'm not saying empirically this is correct or not, but they can promise to offer something that nothing else can offer. And that is the sustainability of better immigrant outcomes. It's not just that today, perhaps in a space, in some geographic area, you have certain immigrants or the society doing better based on some metrics. But the LIPS, because they exist, and because they have engaged all those partners together, theoretically, they have a strong chance of ensuring a sustainable way of keeping those metrics up in opposition to another world, a possible world where you have no LIPS, where you might have certain metrics almost equal at the same level. But in that world where no LIPS, no organization, no engagement exists, I would like to suggest that sustainability will be at much higher risk to sustain, to ensure into the future. So it's just my little kind of 2 bits, if you will, to a suggestion to you and to our colleagues here as you look into the future to show that value added of LIPS. I think there is definitely something much bigger there than just offering settlement services to newcomers. So with those few words, I'm hoping that they made a little bit of sense to you. I'm going to turn to, I don't really know her, but Linda Button, right there. And from there on, I'm expecting that colleagues will take about 10 to 12 minutes maximum to provide as much time as possible at the end for questions or comments. Thank you very much.